playing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 84. As you guys know, we have a couple episodes left before we end off this year with a beautiful ending. We brought someone special back. Someone who hasn't been on in 61 episodes. I don't know why. You have to ask him. But Vash, my brother, welcome back.
Osama, thank you. Thank you for having me back, bro.
Bro, I'm glad you're back.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute since I've seen you and since we spoke.
It's been a minute since I've seen you. It's been a minute since we spit facts on ways, bro.
Facts.
Like,
come on, man. And I just want to say, guys, African timing. Mohammed's going to be here. It's not that he doesn't want to be here. He's just doing some stuff, so you'll hear his voice eventually. I just want to put a side note in to roast this guy. But yeah, bro.
Yo, listen. Listen, Mohammed's not on time, yo.
Nah,
the podcast isn't set up correctly, yo. Waze is canceled, bro.
Wait, no one's canceling me, bro. Dude, listen. No one's gonna cancel me. But before we get started, I do want you to shout out where people can find you, what you've been up to. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Oh man, I've just been working like crazy, to be honest. Like, we're getting into like the endemic of the pandemic, so
hey man, don't
work's
say
just
that, bro.
been dragging on.
The endemic of the pandemic, bro. I just saw a report yesterday. The cases went back up. They're near 600.
Supposedly air quotations endemic. So
hey man, I don't believe
yeah, man. So
if we go back to another lockdown, you're the one that's gonna get canceled.
Bro, if we go back into another lockdown,
honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't care.
The whole
world will get mad.
The whole provincial cabinet's getting canceled.
That is very true. But honestly, like, this is like, guys, before we start our topic, it's gonna be about cancel culture, so y'all gonna get called out. But this is an important topic. I actually do not care if we enter another lockdown. And Mo's coming on that right now. See, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I generally do not care if you go on another lockdown. Like, I know a lot of people do. I just don't. Because I kind of don't restrict my life or limit my life to, like, because of a lockdown. I'm like, bro, I'm still gonna do me. Like, you're not gonna stop me from, like, living my life.
Yeah, man. Like, honestly, if we go back into another lockdown, we still gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta go to the groceries. We gotta spend time with our families. We gotta spend time with our friends.
Exactly.
We gotta go to work. So nothing's really changing.
Nah, exactly, 100%. And I do want to say that we have to link soon because the last time I remember seeing you, actually this isn't exact. Was a year ago. Was when me, you, and Olivia went to get Dave's. I think. Damn.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Actually,
and it's funny because like right before I hit you up about the podcast, I told you I ran into your boy in Toronto, Kavin.
Kevin, yeah, not Kavin.
No, he told me his name's actually pronounced Kavin, but people can't pronounce Kavin.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought it was. Damn, this guy never told me that. That's actually interesting. True.
Yeah, he said it's actually.
What's his name?
It's actually Kavin.
I don't think you ever met him, but he's one of my boys that I used to work with.
Convenience store? What's his name?
You did not do him like that.
Kevin.
You did not do him like that.
Shout out to Kevin.
Anyways, so basically, guys, today, as I mentioned before, it's been 61 episodes since we had our boy Vash. The last time he came on, he basically beautifully, eloquently spoke about technology and the advancement of technology. And obviously, I'm going to tell you, I've known this guy since 2014, I believe. And I don't think we've ever spoken about technology that much. And like hearing him a year ago around quarantine, like this guy was blessing us with knowledge and talking about the advancement things that's gonna happen. And to me, I love technology, but I was just kind of listening to him as a student and watching him like obviously bless us with amazing knowledge. So, bro, I want to hear your opinion about cancel culture. It's definitely touchy. A lot of people are gonna be like, "Ooh," they're gonna have their 2 cents on it, but I think there's a lot of facts that should be said.
100%. Cancel culture, man. I don't even know where to start with that.
Well, we can cancel Mo for being late.
I think.
Number one.
Osama for not accommodating.
Number one, before we start the episode, I definitely want to say, like Osama said, when we had you on, I told Osama yesterday, it was actually one of the confirmations that I knew that the podcast would ultimately be successful.
Because
in the beginning, because like whatever you say about a podcast as far as objective, you have to prove it, right? So for us, it's having different people in different fields who are experts in what they do and stuff, right? And being able to pull that out in a way that's practical, understandable, and people can take away from is very hard. And with your episode specifically, as far as technology, that's very vague, obviously really general. But being able to go into the specifics as far as different areas and being able to get beautiful answers from yourself, let us know that we are actually doing a good job. So we want to say that to you while we have you on, because obviously it's been over a year since the last time I spoke to you personally, right? So I want to say thank you so much for the episode you gave us.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's dive into the topic today, which is cancel culture. So guys, just to give you a little background, the reason why this topic is happening, Vash hit me up maybe a couple of weeks ago and says, yo bro, I'd love to come back again. I'm like, by all means, like, we'd love to have you back. It's been a minute since, and obviously like these kind of episodes are special, and then when you want to bring someone of that, like someone of that what's the word I'm looking for, I don't know, exotic nature, you want to have
no, that's not the word. I think about Tiger King. I think about Tiger King.
Exotic nature, relax, bro. Vash has a presence, and you can't just be a
caliber. You can say caliber.
Exactly.
Or presence.
Exotic nature, caliber, whatever, bro. I'm sticking with it. No, I'm uncancelable. Anyway, the point is, this guy hit me up, and he was like, "Yo, I want to come back." And I'm like, as I was gonna say before, Mo interrupted me. I was gonna say this. Vash always has a presence, and it has to be an episode where it makes sense, and I know he's gonna kill it. So he's like, let's talk about cancel culture, because obviously, recently, it seems as if everyone's getting canceled, or like people specifically. We touched on that a bit. Mohammed, Dave Chappelle, in his last special, a certain community went in on him, and yeah, bro. So I guess Vash, my guy, what's your intake on cancel culture?
So cancel culture, there's so many different avenues you can look at with cancel culture. So before we agreed on the topic, or actually right after we agreed on the topic, I should say, Osama was like, get some topics, get some ideas, do some research, and come speak about it. So I was thinking about cancel culture really, really deeply the other day, and I was like, what is the main core of, like, what's the root of cancel culture? Where does it start from? Where does it begin? So social media takes a big role in cancel culture. You see artists, public figures, influencers, they quote unquote get canceled for anything they do, right? And I think the society is a little too soft in terms of having their opinion or feeling the types of way on certain things people say or people do. But where does the term cancel culture derive from? What is the purpose of it? So I was thinking about it, and I said it's almost like a form of like exile or exclusion. So I looked up the term and I looked up the word for it, and there's actually a word for that. It's called ostracism. And ostracism, basically, it's a definition of exile and exclusion, and it plays a big role on different people, physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm not sure if you've seen like what's going on in media right now, like with cancel culture, but like so many things are happening. Like Tory Lanez, people are trying to cancel Tory Lanez for getting into that little incident that he got into with Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah. Six Buses recently posted that the girl from Toronto, Debbie from Toronto, has unfortunately passed away due to a drug overdose. And every time she gets posted or gets clout or gets seen, they're always like, "Why are you posting this girl? Cancel her. She's not worth it." Right? So cancel culture can affect so many people in such a negative way, just because of people's. I'm not even sure what word to use. They're like, they think their own opinion trumps all. You know what I mean?
I want to add on to that. See, the concept of cancel culture makes no sense, because we speak about freedom of speech, and that you're able to say whatever you want to say, with being respectful, mind you. However, when we're canceling people for their opinions and because this is how they feel, it's just stupid in my opinion. Because this is the way I look at it. Ironically enough, cancel culture works against you, because that means I can cancel you for saying something stupid because I feel a certain way, and that's just dumb. And I might not even know anything about the topic, but because you said I want to cancel you. And let's talk about Dave Chappelle, for example. His latest special, The Closure. Funny, I've seen the whole thing. It's amazing. Now, the great thing about Dave Chappelle, and why he's one of my favorite comedians, he's the best storyteller ever. Like, he knows how to break it down. He knows how to, like... What?
Do you like Dave Chappelle specifically because of his exotic nature?
That's funny. You know what? Honestly, bro, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm just gonna add on to the joke and say yeah.
I just want the audience to know.
But all jokes aside, he said a lot. He said a joke about obviously the baby and like hurting the LGBTQ community, right? Now, obviously, he's not trying to diss. He's just trying to like educate people. He's like, killing someone is not less than you hurting someone's feelings. I don't care who you are, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, atheist. I don't care who you are. Like, you're not saying someone who's innocent, who died. This less matters less in the eyes of society. But ironically enough, it actually does. Because when you look at the media, if a dog dies, they'll give more attention to a dog than a human being. Go back to George Floyd a year and a half ago. That didn't get as much attention as it actually should have gotten. If you go back, it did not. The only reason why at the time everyone was so frustrated because it was Corona added on to the hype. Like, everybody was like stuck at home. They're like, there's no way we're not going to cancel the media for not taking action on this, right? And I believe as if cancel culture to me is so subjective because just because you feel a certain way does not mean I have to feel for you. There's no way because I never grew up like that.
100%.
It's so weird. Like, I had an idea about cancel culture, obviously, like anyone else. And for this episode, I just want to like remove myself from it. So obviously, Vash already gave a definition. I'm gonna go with the Wikipedia definition, although Wikipedia is not really.
Don't trust Wikipedia. You should know that.
I would go with the Oxford, but yeah, I know. But Wikipedia describes it as cancel culture or call-out culture is a modern form of ostracism in which someone is thrust out of social or professional circles, whether it be online or social media or in person. Those subjects to this ostracism are said to have been canceled. Okay, now, I'm going to ask you guys this question, and I'm going to give you the reason why I say this.
Shoot.
Is cancel culture real? Yes or no? That's all you have to say, yes or no.
No. I think it's
What about you, Vash?
I think it's a false reality.
I guess it's real to a certain extent, but it gets blown out of proportion way too often.
Okay, so the reason why I asked you guys that question is because technically cancel culture was real and technically is real, but there was never a word for it technically. Because when Vash said exiled, it totally like blew my mind, and I totally thought about, if you think about throughout history, obviously with different revolutions and regimes and monarchs, whenever there was a problem with the people at the top, whether it was the kings, monarchs, dictatorships, whatever you want to call it, was Napoleon, King Louis, and throughout different parts of the nations, when people want to take over as far as coups and just taking over that current state, it always ended up with the person, the leader at hand, being exiled, obviously to an island or prison or to another place until they're sentenced, or they were subjected to prison time, execution, assassination, you name it, right? Technically, that was cancel culture, right? That is cancel culture, pretty much, because you are canceling the person who was, you're canceling the person who created a culture that wasn't beneficial for the people, right? But that's just in a political kind of way. Cancel culture, as far as social media, this is new for us. We've never seen it as far as the outcomes and obviously the consequences from it. So it's new. So we don't really know what the consequences are and how people who are quote unquote being canceled are affected by it. I think that's why, because if it's in person, we already know how that works. It's being exiled, and that still happens to today with corrupt leaders around the whole world and stuff. But as far as cancel culture online, but it's not corrupt leaders. It's just influencers and celebrities. We don't really know because it's so new, right? So I think
cancel culture is just like a bandwagon thing, right? Like if you don't like something and
the words out of my mouth.
It's like you just jump to conclusions, right? Like, oh, I don't like what this is. He's canceled. She's canceled. This group is canceled. You know, like the Ontario cabinet's canceled. We're always in lockdown. Like everything's canceled. Like we don't like that. But like there's also the saying, if you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change your mindset. Yeah. And I feel like that's what people fail to do. Fail to change their mindset.
When Mo asked that question about is it real or not, the reason why I said no is a couple things. Because I think people, as you said, Vash, people are just blowing it up out of proportion. Yes, there is a threshold of where you got to stop. Like, for example, you're not going to go start saying the N-word to every single black person, because I don't know why people don't get canceled for that. And it's now, to be honest, it's kind of normalized. If you think of it, it's kind of normalized. There's rappers who are not black who are saying it, and then it's because they're signed to a black label. They're like, oh yeah, man, like black people F with me, I could say it. But Still makes it wrong.
Shout out to 6ix9ine.
Still makes it wrong. Am I wrong? It still makes it wrong. Two. Another thing. This generation more often is much more softer, because if you go back to 20 years ago when we were like 6 years old, 7 years old, bro, there was way worse stuff that's been said, and the media never caught that. So just imagine how your brain is programmed, because now it's like, it's almost as you built immunity to not give a f if someone says something to you, because you're like, "Alright, bro, you're all talk behind that mask that you're trying to carry, but I know, like, if you're trying to say that to my front of my face again, you're gonna get decked in the face, or I'm gonna put you in your place." I remember I saw one video, and I told Mo this. So stupid. This girl is asking me a question. The guy she's asking, I think some black professor. He's like, "Oh, but before I ask my question, do you consider yourself black?" I'm like, "Are you stupid? Is this what life has come to? Do you consider yourself black?" Who asks that question? If you ask me that question, like I said, is my name actually Osama? I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna slap the crap out of you." And I think where I'm trying to go with this with cancel culture is, just because you feel a certain way, or just because someone does something wrong which you disagree with, and in the eyes of society, there's still people who agree with it, does not mean I have to like it, because we all are all different human beings. Like Vash, I've known you since 2014, right? But that doesn't mean I have to have similar values, similar thoughts as you. There's probably a lot of things that me and you disagree on that we probably don't even know yet because you haven't spoken about it. But it does not mean that I can't be your friend, or I can't, you know?
100%. And like, there's so many different, like you said, like, think like 20 years ago, how many things have been said. I'm gonna give you a quick example. We've both like lived in the same area, more or less. You're in Oakville, I'm in Burlington. But like, just as an example of how cancel culture wasn't happening, say 10 years ago. I'm gonna give an example. As a video game, Call of Duty, the publishers of Call of Duty, Activision Software, or whatever their name is, they had one of the most toxic online groups ever to have ever seen the internet, right? So many more worse things have been said. So many things have like been looked at. Did anybody get canceled? Is Activision canceled? No, they're still popping off. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they're still making money. But like, who's to say that cancel culture shouldn't have been affected then versus as it is right now? You know what I mean?
Like, I think it's all puppets.
The way it's happening right now, it's way too sensitive. The world, society is too sensitive, and they don't know how to like man up or go with their gut, say what they have to say, give their opinions, right? Like, if yourself and I disagree on something, or if Mo and I disagreed on something, I'd say it straight. I'd be like, I don't give a rat's ass. You know,
but like, it's interesting that you say that, about, because you captivated.
I wouldn't go to the.
Sorry, go on.
I wouldn't go to the point where I'd say you're canceled. You know,
but people say, you know what, I said this to my brother the other day. I'm like, let's say for example, let's talk about Muslim joke for a second, right? When these comedians make fun of Muslims, right, in a funny comedic way. Now, if you genuinely get mad, that means you're wrong. That means something's wrong with you. But if you can get a good laugh out of it and say, "Yo, our community does do that," LOL, that means it's just like, yeah, you're building off like dumb stereotypes. The point of comedy, in my opinion, is to tell real life news. There's more news in comedy being dropped down by these comedians than there is by politicians. Ironically enough, if you just take that for a second, whoever's listening. Two, you spoke about Call of Duty. These companies. Right? Let's talk about Company A, right? This Company A is gonna hire puppets to say whatever they want, right? There are other celebrities who are within Hollywood who are maybe not as big, successful, but they maybe not as they're A tier. But the reason why they're not successful is because they go against the industry. They don't like what they're doing. They don't like, for example, look at Tyler the Creator, bro. This guy called out the Grammy. Look at Drake. Drake called out the Grammy. This guy may not win a Grammy ever again after calling them out. Eminem. One of the biggest celebrities, but he's very vocal, and these guys are vocals because they're getting sick and tired of this narrative that you have to be quiet because people feel a certain way. Like, I'm not gonna downgrade my values, downgrade my thinking process, downgrade my how I see life just because I can make you happy. If you're a Waze fan, that's because you like what me and Mo are saying, the guests that we bring on. I really don't care if you're not a Waze fan, because my point is to captivate people who are already Waze fans. And then whoever's a new listener, if you F with us, by all means, I love that. But to the haters who are like wasting their... by the way, I love all the haters who are listening and hating on us, because that just makes us more successful. So... And cancel culture also ironically works against you. How are you going to go on someone's platform, hate on them, yet you're giving them views, you're giving them more time, you're giving them more a better algorithm. So you're wasting your own valuable time to hate on someone else, to cancel them, yet Instagram and TikTok and all these other platforms look at it, oh damn, people are watching them, he's getting more comments, uplift his video. It's to the point where Netflix CEO defended Dave Chappelle. That's how well his special did. That's how well his special did. He's like, we're not gonna cancel this guy. Like, this is too much good material. So it seems as though cancel culture is working against the people who are canceling each other.
Well, one thing that Vash said was about like how the world's being more sensitive, and obviously I just think that it's just due to modernization, right? So obviously, if you want a world that's more modernized, that means less crimes have to happen. So you need better institutions, better structures, and obviously a reform on just like practical matters when it comes to interpersonal relationship, community, accepting all cultures, ethnicities, and religions and stuff, right? So through that, obviously the generations that come from that are more sensitive. So it makes sense as these new kids are more offended to everything as opposed to us. And obviously our parents' generation that were like, that went through like poverty, war, famine, and all different things you can name and stuff, right? So that's what comes with as a result, as far as modernization. And when you think about like cancel culture, it's like back to the day I was saying about monarchs and stuff, right? Like it was proximity. So that happened to those people and they dealt with it. But now with social media and everyone having a voice, an issue at hand is not really dealing with the place in its located manner. The whole world gets to see it and the whole world has a voice. So therefore, obviously, more people are not going to like it. Now, the question about the ideology of cancel culture, whether it's right or wrong, that's one thing. But the mentality, like you guys are talking about, like the person's mindset going into it, like you're trying to erase a person's, status in life. Like they're trying to make them non-existent in a way. So it's pretty much trying to make someone appear dead, but they're currently living.
I have a question.
So through that, they have no sense of security, no sense of income or anything. They're just there. They're just a number, but they don't have any type of thing they could grasp on. And that's not right, obviously. But the question is it ever acceptable? Like, is any situation that's acceptable for someone to be canceled or no? People can do whatever they want, say whatever they want, act how they want without any repercussions. Can
I answer that? Because I was going to ask the same exact question, bro. Again, you took the words out of my mouth. So let me answer that. Let me ask you guys something. If I go and say all brown people are terrorists, what would you guys do? Both of you guys say, what's your answer?
I'd be like you're just generalizing a race
exactly.
or ethnicity.
Now here's my.
That's not really how it works.
Exactly.
Like,
so my second question to you guys is: we can all agree that when it comes to race, there's still a huge problem that has not been stated. That when things are okay to be said, like bro, not you guys saw us on Six Buzz. Shout out to those guys for like now basically become a news platform. A teacher in London, Ontario, called a girl in the 8th grade the N-word. Now, I put on my story, whoever saw it. I'm like, what district hires teachers? Like, there has to be like that's just disgusting in my opinion. And let me tell you something. Look what I guarantee what the district's gonna do. Similar, I'll talk about Western University next. Look what the district's gonna do to save their butts. They're gonna be they're probably just gonna suspend her with pay, and then say some BS statement as if the kid probably initiated something. Who knows? I guarantee that's exactly what's gonna happen. Let's go back to Western University when the whole sexual assault allegations happened. What did the university do?
They put out a statement.
And the statement was?
We don't condone it happened, but they didn't go any further. They took a while before any arrests were made. I would say they didn't release the names of the abusers at hand, and that's what made students very alarmed very angry.
Exactly. So the way I look at it, guys, is like it's not that cancel culture is right or wrong. I think we're canceling the wrong things. Is the biggest problem. Like I wouldn't like if you guys started canceling people who said the N-word, bro, I'm with that. If you guys started canceling people who are being disrespectful and racist, I'm with that. Trump never got canceled. Bro, Trump literally said I could stand in New York Avenue with what he said and I could shoot someone, I can get away with it. Who says that? And he became president. He became president off of that. But no one canceled him. But when you say, oh, you're fat, you're skinny, you're this. If you get mad, well, maybe you are skinny, maybe you are fat with all due respect, but maybe you should do something about it. If you're getting mad, that means you know internally there's something wrong and that you're agreeing with the external thoughts. If you know they're wrong, then you can't get mad.
Yeah, I agree with Osama. I think like cancel culture, they're canceling, quote unquote, canceling the wrong things. Like, they're canceling petty things that pop up in the real world, and they don't know how to assess certain situations when they occur, and that's why I say they jump to conclusions and they use that term or the action to cancel something or someone.
You know what's funny? Like if it's getting it to a point where like, bro, we're gonna be canceling someone who calls you like stupid. You're like, okay, it's like, are you calling me just because like I have a mental disability? I'm like, bro, and people take it too far. Like for example, I don't know, me, like the way I look at it is like when your friends are roasting you or they're I don't know, like they're just making fun of you. It's not because they hate you. It's because I guess you do something funny and then they feel some roasting is I guess sign of a love language now, where that they show like you're my boy, like because your friends will never purposely hate you. And I feel if you have immigrant parents, you're built on value and respect. And the three of us, we're not going to go say dumb stuff outside. Like, we understand, like, just because we don't agree with something, I'm not going to go disrespect you for it. But don't start make me change my views because you're not going to do that. You could do whatever you'd like with your life. By all means, live your life as happy as you want. But I disagree with how you think, and that's how I live. I think if we change our perspectives, like, hey, I view my life this way, though I'll do my best to see how you view your life that way, but I still disagree with how you live. Not ever going to agree, but by all means, I hope you're happy in the way you choose to live your life. That's how life should be. Not, oh man, like it's the 21st century, bro. 2021. Get over yourself. Stop living in 2005. I'm not living in 2005 because if I was, I'd be younger and I would not even care. I'm older. I'm much more mature. I know what I need, and obviously based on how I grew up and how my parents raised me and how I chose to look at life, this is how I chose to look at life, and this is how I want to live.
I think one thing to highlight what you said was like, when it comes to cancel culture, you know, it's funny, like most people, when it comes to different like subcultures, the mentality and the appearance of most of those people kind of have the same appearance. Some people talk about like racism, like especially if people who are white, they generalize them like kind of chubby guys, rednecks with the red hat, red or the American hats and stuff with like the weird goatee and stuff, and their names like Jim or Bob, whatever, and they like they like grow up on farms and whatever. But obviously, as we know, like races are made up of different types of people as far as the different jobs and occupations. So when I think about cancel culture, the people who participate in cancel culture, they're kind of, obviously they're different people. They're not just one kind of people. Different races, different complexities, religions, and thoughts. But one thing they have in mind, which is something that's shared, is the concept of liberty. So liberalism, like for them, they believe that they want the highest level of freedom when it comes to everything. So everything should be shared equally. But at the same time, when I think about that, it's like, okay, if you want everything to be freedom as far as equality, that means you want everything to be one. But not everything's equal. And not everyone believes in the same ideology. No one has the same reference of mind when it comes to different thoughts and aspects of life as we know it. So those people who do participate in cancel culture, it's one thing I noticed, that they are the most free people as far as what they want. They want everything to be free as far as their lives and what they want from it. And at the same time, they have one ideology and nothing else. And it seems as if everything is neutral and nuanced. But that's not life as we know it, right? Like different religions, different occupations, different things will clash. And for that to happen, it's going to take a lot of work and framework as far as the reference. But that doesn't happen overnight.
Can I ask you guys a question? For Vash and my brother from
100% agree, bro.
another.
100% agree.
I have a question for both of you guys. What do you? What concept? What music platform? What concept do you think that was really hot in, like, let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago? That you remember, that you look back and you're nostalgic about it. What, it could be a song. Who knows? What basically do you think it will not exist today? Something. It could be a song. It could be something that happened 20 years ago that if it happened today, it would immediately get canceled, and why?
Oh man, there's so many things. Like,
Any early Eminem, man. Like,
any early Slim Shady, like for example, some shit. Yeah, Mo, you mentioned Eminem. What's that song called?
it's a bunch of them, like the videos and everything. Like, you can't. That's not happening today.
Yo, what's the song called when Eminem had like the puppet as the dog on his hand,
There's so much.
and he's like, he's literally saying, he's like, um, the way you shake it, I can't believe it.
Oh.
I never seen an ass like, yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy literally says, in the song, you make my slinky go to doing doing doing.
Doing. Oh, yeah.
You say that,
Ass like
you say
that.
that to a girl now?
Yeah, the song's like called
You,
Ass Like That.
yeah, you say
See,
that to a girl, like she's gonna immediately be like, you're canceled. Oh, you're feminism or whatever it is, or anti-feminism
you
or whatever the case may be. Like you're
you lo-
like, you can't have that nowadays,
No, you
man.
can't. You gotta give Eminem respect, because it's funny that you guys bring him up, because back when he did a cipher in 2016 when Trump had just became president, he's like, "I'm drawing a line. You're either for or against. If you're with him, you're against me." Like, he basically said that along those lines, and I'm like, that's someone who basically like, he canceled Trump, and that's something which I respect, because he was going against someone who had so much power, yet he was saying so much wrong stuff, and ironically enough, people were canceling if you didn't support him. See the different views and mindsets, because people are so subjective to some person. Like, here's the thing: once you become subjective to something, you have to stand back and look at the actual bigger picture of the actual story. Like, for example, "Lollipop" by Lil Wayne is one of the biggest songs that came out in, like, 2008, I believe, 2009. That song will get canceled today. The only reason why it's a classic is because it came out in a time where it made sense, and it was, if you were 14, 15 years old, let's be honest, a lot of people did not know what that song meant until you got older, and you're like, yo, damn, the song is lit. But now these songs would get canceled, and it's kind of sad, because a lot of these songs are nostalgic for me. So it's just like, I can't imagine a time if Spotify ever says, or Apple Music ever says, like, yo, we're taking these songs off because they're offensive. I'll be so cheesed.
One thing I want to ask you guys, especially Vash, one thing that Dave Chappelle really talked about heavily in a special was how power plays into this. Like, you guys are literally about to cancel me, which is one thing, but the reason why you guys are canceling me is because the power structure that you guys have. So, like, when you were saying earlier about, like, Trump, with everything he said, all the outrageous things, accusations, false ideologies that he literally projected onto millions of his followers over the stem of the 4 years that he was president, as we know, was not true. One thing that we knew was that he had a lot of power as far as the hierarchy that he has in life, and especially in his position. So with people with power structures having such a huge emphasis and backing behind them, and obviously it correlates into the media and how they're able to put out stories and narratives that are able to reinforce their ideologies. It obviously plays into how normal people decide what and what not to cancel. So do you guys think power plays a huge role in the way we go after the people we want to cancel, as opposed to the people we don't cancel, who we technically kind of should be canceling?
Vash, if you want, you can go first, buddy.
100%, because power always comes from like some sort of platform, right? So once you've developed that platform, you have that platform to stand on. You have like almost all the backing in the world to not get canceled, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
there's power from like the public side of things, right? So the group, like when I mean public side, like the public group, I mean like society itself. Like they think they have the power and freedom of speech to say this is wrong, this shouldn't be allowed, and they I think they use freedom of speech in a wrong way for the wrong people or the wrong groups,
Mm-hmm.
rather for the, like Mo said, the right groups that should need to be quote unquote canceled. But again, like it's back to what I said originally. I think it's petty. I think it's a bandwagon type flex going on right now. They just hop on the cancel culture. They have nothing better to do. in my eyes. They have nothing better to do. They don't want to do the research and go look at the real threats out there that need to be canceled.
Hmm. I actually like how you said that. I think people try to cancel moments as opposed to someone's whole career because like we all have our mistakes, right? But I'm not gonna use that one moment to define your whole career. Now, when you pick someone as stupid as Trump, he's made multiple mistakes. He first said Muslim ban. You already effed up right there because you generalized 2 billion Muslims, if not more. And what makes no sense to me, I'm like, okay, let's use our brains. Hypothetically speaking, if this was true that Muslims all were terrorists, right? Don't you think Muslims would rule the world? 2 billion people out of 8 billion people. I don't think anybody else has a chance at that point. So then, what did the Muslim community do? They spoke out. They raged out. They're like, "This is not us. Do not say anything about us." Right? Then he dissed the Latino community. The Latino community was voting for him. He said, "We're gonna make a wall with Mexico, and they're gonna pay for it." That never happened. I'm still waiting for that wall to happen. This guy did not. He used fear to win every single I guess debate. He built fear with the people. So when I said, "Yo, Vash, if you don't go with me, bro, Olivia's gonna do this to you," but you're like, "Yo, I'm sensing that. Yeah, damn." Then what happened? Because I'm building fear. You feel secure with my words, ironically enough, but you actually don't, because I know I'm lying, but I know how you're feeling. I'm gonna use how you're feeling to work against me. No one canceled him for it. We could talk about Mohammed has brought up Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle in the last 4 years, 5 years now, he's been doing his comedy specials. He wasn't, in my opinion, he wasn't disrespectful once. He was just trying to convey a message and send a narrative to the people. It's like, yo, like there's a bigger picture than you're hurt, your feelings getting hurt. Or like he said so many jokes about. He's Muslim himself, obviously not as religious, but he makes fun of Muslims and people. Other communities have it, but we don't take it seriously. Like Russell Peters is known for making racial jokes, but like whatever, the Guyanese community, the Jamaican community, the Arab community, the South Asian community, you don't see us getting mad. We laugh because we're like, yo, that I have a friend who does that. Yo, that's jokes. I think people are now so sensitive to the point where you could tell them hi, how are you? They're gonna be like, ew, did you just assume my gender? Did you just assume that I wanted to be said hi to? I'm like, come on, fam. You can't even have normal conversation these days.
It's facts. It's facts. Like with the whole like non-binary thing going on and like transgender fluidity and like all that stuff. Like not against it. I support everybody in the LGBTQ community, but like I said, I think they're just taking it a little too personally. They're looking too deep into it. They're
Mm-hmm.
taking it at face value. They're not taking it at like the actual meaning of saying, "Hey, hi, how are you? Good morning," right? Or the way you address them. Like they're not looking through to see your actual morals and ethics that you have to give out to the world. They just see
Honestly,
what they
yeah.
want to see.
Honestly, the way I see it is this: there's 8 billion people in the world, right? We're not all gonna think alike ever, because the way your parents have raised you, the way you get influenced by other people, and how you choose to live your life, right? The one thing I live by is respect. As long as you're respectful to me, I don't care who you are, bro. You can be an atheist, you can be Jewish, you can be, if you want to be gay, you can be gay. If you want to be like Muslim, but there's some Muslims who I disagree with, and those are like people who have the same religion as. And there's like within the Muslim community, there's a lot of disagreements with in terms of how we view life, but there's still a sign of respect, and that's what people like lose. I'm like, just because you disagree with someone does not necessarily mean canceled. I'm like, yo, first of all, I'm uncancelable. You're not gonna cancel me because I know what I say, and I'm happy with how I view my life. And by the way, I remember I was talking to my brother about this. He was basically this is what he said was about food. But he was basically saying, related to this. He was basically saying every 7 years your body changes in terms of what it can accept, what it can't accept, right? In terms of like food and your digestive system. However, every time you get older and you get more mature, you view your life differently. So if I ask you guys a question, how was Muhammad and Vash at 18 years old compared to you guys now? Your answer is gonna be quite different, no?
100%. Like I'm gonna go back like off to like a previous questions you had. Like you said like something that happened or music or like show that happened in like the past 10, 15 years that was okay back then,
Mm-hmm.
but like not okay now. And like two shows actually just came into my mind. And the first show, actually both of them were like before I was even born. like mid to late 80s and then late 80s to early 90s. The first one I'm pretty sure we've all seen it. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's
Yes.
just an easy show. Like there's so many sexist jokes and like inappropriate
Yeah.
jokes and things that were referred to in that show that you can't say that now because the
That's
world is
actually a
too
good
sensitive
example.
about it. But at the same time, back to what I said, when somebody has a platform, it's their platform. That's where they started from. They developed it, they they refined it. They're standing on that. So you can't really cancel that person because that's the image they gave off in the beginning. That's who they are. Like it might not be who
Hmm.
they are at their core, but that's who they are in terms of like media. Like you look at Will Smith, you know he's the Fresh Prince. You know he's the player. You know he's the guy that goes after girls, right?
Maybe not
Another show
anymore.
is, and this show maybe not anymore. R.I.P. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett.
They're going through some things right now. That's pretty much it. Got to send them
Yeah,
some healing
Jada,
energy.
Jada Pinkett needs to be
Yeah.
canceled, bro.
Yeah.
Another show that from the 80s. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you guys seen this show, but it's called Married with Children
Yeah, I know that show.
with
Oh
I
yeah,
heard of it.
what?
I
yeah with
heard of
Al
it. Yeah.
Al
My,
Bundy.
my,
Bundy,
my
If
mom
Al
that
and
show,
dad used to
Bundy.
watch it.
if
That should be
if
canceled.
that show if that show aired today,
Yeah,
a modern version, everybody in that show would be canceled. The whole studio would be canceled.
easy.
But it just goes to show how sensitive people are for no reason,
You
right?
know,
It's like
Vash.
I think TVs and movies are almost like visual books, right? If an author wrote a book with certain things in it, similar to Married with Children, let's say it was a series, what would you do? Would you it's a story. It's not a factual thing. Would you cancel the author?
No. But you know the thing
Sorry,
is,
Osama, I cut you off. What were you going to ask?
no, because you were saying, what was the last thing you said about the author?
I said TV shows and movies in my eyes are almost like visual books, right? You
Yeah.
would watch them, right? So if an author wrote a book or a series, almost like very similar to Married with Children, and it had the same
Hmm.
concepts of Al Bundy being petty to his wife, being sexist, making all
Yeah.
these female jokes and all that. If it was a book written as a story, would you cancel the author?
Yeah, and see, that's a beautiful question because the way I look at it, like obviously my answer is going to be no, but society's answer is going to be yes. And when I look at this, for example, now when they make movies or shows, they always have to make it politically correct. Like just make the show based on how you want to do it. This is how I see my vision. Like for example, there doesn't have to be a freaking. Doesn't have to be every character like. There doesn't have to be a Muslim. Doesn't have to be a Jewish guy. Doesn't have to be an atheist guy. Doesn't have to be someone who's agnostic. Someone who's like who a scientist. Like bro, make it like for example, the cool thing about Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which will probably even though I think they want to make a modern version of it, I don't think it's gonna do as well because obviously certain classic shows cannot just be remade, in my opinion. And when Fresh Prince of Bel Air came out at the time, that specific time, even the Bill Cosby show, the Martin Lawrence show, all these other shows that came out, Seinfeld, all these other shows that were like around that time, there's certain jokes that they said that you look back, bro. I die of laughter. Like I'm legit dying because I've taken the context. Like, Mohammed, we go every Tuesday to the mosque for like the speeches that we go to, right? And the speaker was saying, he's like, there's text and there's context to it, right?
Add context because the thing is, if someone wants to cancel us, they literally take what you say. We go to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mosque
yeah.
every
So
Tuesday for
exactly. So
speeches.
no,
What kind of?
exactly.
They're like, what
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of speeches?
Hold on, hold
Terrorists?
on, hold on. So basically,
Please
when we
add
go to the mosque, we
context.
talk about. Yes, I'll add context. We go to the mosque, we learn about self development and more about our religion, to like just specifically to learn what certain things. There's deeper meanings to like what we want to learn, right? I'll give you one example. There's the opening of when you're about the Quran called the Fatiha, which basically talks about guidance, and he kind of goes in depth. Just to give a small example, but basically, one of the first speeches was about text and context. When I say something, there's context to it, and a lot of people don't give the time to say the actual meaning of what they're trying to say, which then gives the cancel culture people the leverage to cancel you because they're just taking information and saying, "Oh, I only understood 1% of what he said, but I'm gonna cancel that part." And then next thing you know, there's a war.
I think, once again, like drawing back to what I said in the beginning about just like being exiled. I think cancel culture is going to evolve into two things. The first one is kind of what's happening right now. Like back then, once again, talk about the French Revolution. whenever there was something that went wrong pertaining to a politician and whatever level they were, when the people want to get rid of that person, obviously be put on trial and then subjugated to the guillotine. Some people, they didn't even go through that. They were actually taken straight to the guillotine. And imagine, like, as you are taken to the guillotine, you're tied up, you have the white bag over your head, and people are screaming, all waiting for the event, for the guillotine to fall down to chop your head off, and that's done. You're canceled. Non-existent, right? I think cancel culture is kind of the same thing today. Obviously, like, people are so angry with what a person did or what they said, and they want to be canceled. Pretty much like a kind of a social media kind of version of a guillotine, right? Just to be chopped off as far as the career and what they have and what they earned. We haven't really seen it to the extent, but I think in the future, let's say 5 to 10 years from now, that's probably going to happen. So if someone do something that's against a race, a community, a religion, ethnicity, and the people have enough power or structure, that social media mob that we see now will be more advanced, have more power, and before the person could even say that they're sorry, give a deepening reasoning, a more understanding as to what they did, they'll be taken to a social media version of a guillotine, and that's it. They're cut off, non-existent. Maybe their history as far as the catalog, whether it's music, books, specials, whatever you name it, will be removed from the internet, movie services, TV services, everything. Like, it'll be totally canceled, and that's that. Or, I think the second thing with cancel culture might be that a person might be taken to, they might legislate some new laws. Like, if you are offending a group of people and there's enough numbers, you'll be subjugated to trial, to the courthouse. And I think that might take into account maybe 10 to 20 years from now, if the world's becoming more sensitive, more open, and want everything to be more perfect as far as its ideals, norms, and the values that it places on one society. Or the third thing, I think it might be, it won't manifest into anything, and cancel culture might die. So for me, I think it's going to be one of those three possibilities as far as where cancel culture might go or might just default.
Well, honestly,
I think the whole. Go ahead, Osama.
No, you go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, like, I think the whole concept of what Mo said, having that social media guillotine to cut somebody off, yeah, it'll always be there. It'll always be there. As long as the internet exists, once it's written, it's always in stone, and it'll always be there. It'll always be a tool used to cancel or disrupt or just cause some sort of like reformment in terms of like society and media.
Agreed. Honestly, dude, I think before we end it off, I know we're kind of going a little bit over time, but I guess I'll say one last thing before we end it off. I think when it comes to cancel culture, I think what would make me happier is if we're able to cancel the right things, the things that actually matter, as opposed to the things that we feel subjective to. It's like, I think we're going the wrong way about the cancel culture. I think that we all voiced our opinion. They kind of like said exactly how we felt, and obviously, I think people just have to remember that before you cancel someone, try to understand what they're trying to say. If it does genuinely sound disrespectful, then by all means. If you're just doing it because you feel a certain way, then take a step back, ignore it, and just leave, because they're probably projecting something from their own insecurities and they're probably not educated. Because when people make fun of Muslims, I don't care. I'm like, if it's not true, why am I going to waste my time getting mad at that? It's just not true. And with that being said, Vash, bro, we appreciate you coming on, man. Always. This is the first time where we had a nonchalant conversation. One is where you educated us. We want you to come back again, hopefully for next year.
Hopefully sooner than next year, bro. Maybe.
Hopefully, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be like another 365 days.
Of
man.
course. We'll definitely make sure to have you on sooner. And yeah, once again, a beautiful conversation, and yeah, just your thoughts, references, and everything. It just helps make the conversation more easy. Thank you so much.
If you want to cancel Vash, you can follow him at
Exotic Nature.
Vash.
Exotic Nature.
It's, at Vashlekram _ VASHLEKHRAM _.
I'm kidding. Don't cancel Vash. He's an amazing human being. If you ever see him, please say hi to him. Make sure you follow him. Talk to him, ask him questions, let him know.
Man,
if you want him to come back.
No, you act like the guy has no friends. If you see him, please say hi to him. Like, it's like elementary school when you see that kid walking by himself. Hey guys, trying to make him like feel part of the game, you know?
Oh my goodness. Yo, I'm gonna cancel you for making fun of me, bro. Get out of here.
Hey, man.
Anyways, hey, what? Listen, dude. Today is a good day. Actually, well, when this comes out, talking about today is Saturday, and this will come out on Wednesday. But if you're still listening to this, my guys, a fight's gonna go on today. I'm kind of excited, so that's all I'm gonna say.
A
That's the
UFC,
culture. The world is too
a
sensitive.
UFC event. Like be anything. Like, what kind of fight? A bulldog fight? Roosters fighting?
Mo,
Like,
I'm gonna. I wish I can. Can I kick you out of this room? Hold on. Oh, I can actually remove you. I'm playing. Anyways, bro. By all means, thanks again. But by the way, before you exit, this is none of this. The last stuff is not gonna be on. But before you exit, see how it says hang up?
Oh yeah.
So this is why I didn't want you to use your phone because if it's not fully uploaded, then it's gonna make you then you have to leave the dashboard. So if it says when you press hang up and it says still uploading, leave it on the web browser to upload. If it says uploaded completed, then just exit out.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, bro. Peace.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys.
thank you so much, man. Appreciate
Anytime,
it.
bro. Thank you so much.
Easy.
Take care, bro.
Yo, Mo, stay 1 second. I wanna tell you something.
No problem.
Hold on.
I can't hang up.
I'll hang up for you. There you go. Okay, listen. So basically, I'm not sure if you read my text message. This guy said he slept late. So right now we have $295 donated. I have $80 with me from Zohid, and there's 215 on GoFundMe.
No, I saw that.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure if you read my text message. We entered Kenya. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
You know,
alhamdulillah.
that's actually
Alhamdulillah.
insane. Also, I got a comedian to come on our podcast. He's a verified account. I have his number. I'm gonna send you his stuff. He's coming December 15th. So the next couple he's the Arab community, like the Palestinian Lebanese community, know who this guy is.
Oh, okay, no problem. Inshallah.
So yeah, and I saw his one of his one of the episodes he did with someone. It is so trash. I'm like, bro, me, you're gonna kill it. Like this guy asked the most boring questions.
Oh, we got it. We got it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got this.
All right. And inshallah, you can still come to my crib today.
Yeah, inshallah, I'll be there.
All right, bet. I think Sohaib and Sad are coming soon. Too as well.
No problem. No problem. Inshallah.
All right, bro.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Inshallah, I'll see you soon, bro.
Inshallah.
Tell your friend to say hi.
You too. Tell your parents I said hi as well too.
I will.
All right, peace.
Peace out, doggy.